Hello, I'm Avery or Hazel or Kylie. You can just pick one, I don't care.
Hello, I am Lily.
And welcome to the From the Closet podcast. Today we are covering Cars 2.
Yay!
Certainly is a movie. If you'd like to avoid spoilers for it, there will be a link down below to the Just Watch page for this movie, which itself will have links to every place you can rent, purchase, or stream this movie. For us here in the US, it's on Disney Plus. Also in the description is a link to our Patreon where you can vote on future episodes of this show, as well as get access to episodes before they release, as well as early access to episodes of our sister show, Off the Shelf, which is about books, and that podcast is exclusive to YouTube and Patreon. And also in the description is a link to Spotify for podcasters, which has links to every platform this podcast is on, as well as links to our Instagram and Twitter where you can be notified when we release a new episode. With all that being said, you can join us tomorrow for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4 and next week for our free movie of the month for June, as well as Thor Ragnarok. Lily, will you please spin the wheel to determine what they can view after that?
Yes, I will.
And the wheel is spinning.
And X-Men: The Last Stand.
Oh boy. We're just getting bad movie after bad movie.
Oh, we had that other movie.
What movie?
Spirited Away.
Yeah, I mean just starting with Cars 2 and then going to X3. It's just, you know, I haven't even seen it, but I have heard nothing but bad things about it. Kind of the same like with this movie.
But hey, now you have seen it.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it exists.
It certainly does. But yeah, get out if you'd like to avoid spoilers. I don't know why you want to avoid spoilers for fucking Cars 2. In fact, from what I've heard, you can completely skip this movie and just watch Cars 1 and Cars 3.
But I do think that there's some shorts based off of it, but I can't remember. There's too much Cars shorts to remember.
Yeah. Plus, like, shorts are kind of, delving into shorts is kind of really, really annoying. But,
So,
yeah, we're going to start talking about the movie now. So, the first question I want to answer, is this worthy of the title, Pixar's Worst Movie? Yes, are you kidding me? Of course it is.
I mean, I don't know. Good Dinosaur exists.
Good Dinosaur is not as bad as this movie.
And God, I have not heard it. I don't think I've actually ever heard a good thing about Brave.
Brave is good, in my opinion.
From the public.
Yeah, I don't know. Brave, in my opinion, is overhated.
Like, Jesus, I look up, like, every time I see Pixar movies and I see Brave, it is never in a positive light.
I have seen some people like Brave. I know the people over at Cinema Therapy, they like it.
Hmm.
And I'm pretty sure the guy over at Cinema Wins does as well.
So, this movie, I actually want to start with, an interesting memory I have. Maybe two, actually, because I actually saw this movie in theaters with 3D. I think I actually did. That was cool. But another memory, I had this game, like this movie as a game on my iPod. It was like Cars 2 Lite. Because I was too poor to get the, the full version. So yeah, it was just me and my iPod playing goddamn Cars 2 Lite.
What the hell? Well, I remember playing, like, Thor the Dark World, the official game, on my Kindle. which surprisingly was a very fun game, but I think it's lost media now.
I think the same for Cars 2 on iOS.
Well, okay, I say lost media, but like someone probably preserved an APK of it somewhere.
Who the
Um,
fuck is preserving Cars 2 apps?
I mean, I don't know if it existed on Android, it's likely preserved, but I mean, I don't want to do any research on this to find out because
I might do it later.
because it's Cars 2. But yeah,
It was interesting. I can't remember anything about the game though, so
yeah. In regards to this movie, I'm not going to say it was interesting, but it also wasn't boring. And the worst thing a movie can be is boring, so I guess there's that. This movie wasn't the worst thing a movie can be.
this movie has some. I would actually say this movie has some potential,
Unfor-
but and then again, it also had potential to be worse. So you know,
Unfortunately, most of the potential of this movie was completely squandered by having Mater as the main character.
yeah, that's what I don't understand. And I understand. I mean, a lot of people love Mater. I mean, there's just no way around it. For being like, you know, the idiotic side character we've seen a lot, the audience just eats that up. I physically see the audience just loves the idiotic side character.
A portion
But
of the audience does. There's also a rather large portion that found Mater to be the most annoying part of Cars 1.
yeah, I think I'm mostly talking about the majority of people that just scream at Disney and say, take my money. You know, I think the part that they really care about. So that exists. But you also have to understand that despite him being loved by a lot of people in the parents' demographic, he's loved because he's the idiotic side character, not because he's the main character.
Yeah, there's certain roles you don't role shift a character like that when they work that at least decently well in the role they are in.
Like, I get it. He's positioned as Lightning McQueen's best friend. Um, and hell, it feels a little bit weird to show Mater before Lightning McQueen
I
in this
mean,
movie.
the thing that I'm thinking of is like imagine if okay, I am going to slightly spoil something for you in the MCU. Uh
What?
this is a minor spoiler, I think, but Pepper gets her own Iron Man suit.
Honestly, I saw that one coming.
Yeah. Now imagine if Pepper gets her own movie while Tony Stark is still alive.
I'd still watch.
I'd probably still watch it too, but it would seem weird as fuck.
Yeah. It that would be definitely interesting. And also, Mater's just not like Pepper has a character dynamic to at least pose as a main character. Mater doesn't even have that. Mater is very two dimensional, you know? I mean, that's how he was made. Obviously, he has goals, he has dreams, but not really explored or cared about.
I honestly just found a lot of this movie annoying because, like, I don't know, like Mater annoyed me in Cars 1, and this movie tried a lot of times to be funny, and a lot of times it fell flat.
Honestly, I have no shame admitting that I did laugh at a few jokes. It, weirdly, especially when the spies were insulting each other, because that was often.
I laughed at one or two, but the majority of jokes fell flat for me. In particular, there was one near the beginning of the movie. It was like, Tow Mater, that's who is gonna help you. And I'm like, could you really not think of a smoother way to transition between those two scenes?
No, they couldn't. Also, can we talk about like that as a trend? You know, like who the bad guy? Who's gonna stop me? Cuss to hero.
Yeah, it just kind of came across as cliche. Speaking of cliches, this movie
Hmm.
relies on them too much. Like cliche miscommunications, often having characters just not understanding basic English.
I mean, one of the things that you're complaining about is a robot AI,
No, I
which if
mean
we
Mater even just not understanding basic English. I can't think of a specific instance. I watched the movie yesterday, but I know, like, very clearly a character says something and he hears something completely fucking different.
Mater's in his own world, let's be honest. But I also think that you're a bit too hard on those random instances.
No, I'm
Obviously,
not.
seeing worse.
I'm not. Because, like, this shit happens in so many fucking movies and I'm tired of it. Like, and in TV shows too. It's like, come on. Like, I am sick of this mishearing basic English when there's literally nothing else going on. There's no reason you should mishear this.
I mean, it's fine. In fact, a lot of it doesn't even impact the plot. It's like 5 seconds worth.
Except it does, like, it because it impacts the choices that the characters make.
I mean, the biggest thing about it is that everyone is convinced that Mater is a spy, which basically was just, fucked by that American spy that just passed along information.
And can we talk about the shit, what do they call it? Uh there's a name for it. Ah, fuck
What?
it. It's like a code type thing where, like, I don't know. I'm just gonna call it a call and response code because I can't think of the actual name for it.
Hmm.
But it's the dumbest fucking code ever. Like that is easy to crack. Like
I. What?
it was the way they identified that somebody was part of their like intelligence circle.
Oh, yeah, that. I know what you're talking about. I've seen a lot of on other shows.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like that was a pretty dumb one to use. They should have used something a little more obscure.
I mean, it's basically just, to filter out the random people approaching them to, oh, hey, that's someone important.
I don't know. It should have been a lot more should have been a lot more obscure of that than that, and also
I
it
don't know, it
just
could have been obscure.
it's
We're
not.
talking cars.
Yeah, we're talking cars, and the entire line is about cars. Like
Honestly,
a lot of cars in this world would know this information.
I mean, it's not like the call response is not hey, what's the answer to this question? It's answer in the exact, precise way. Yeah, just like, what's 1 plus 1? The answer of 1 duck plus 1 duck equals 2 ducks versus 3.
I mean, it's usually not I'm gonna reference one that I've seen in a TV show. It was like uh, I'm trying to remember the exact wording of it, but like the call was of all the creatures that live upon the earth, and the response is supposed to be nothing is bred that is better than man. And
What the fuck is bread? What is bread doing in this scenario?
I'm not talking about like bread as in what you use for a sandwich, like BRED.
Oh. Damn it, I wanted bread, Avery.
Yeah, well, go get some bread and make me a sandwich then.
No.
I mean, that's an obscure reference. It's a line from the Odyssey. A lot of people aren't. Most people aren't going to get that one.
Fuck, I need to reread the Odyssey in a better fashion.
What fashion did you read it in before?
It was like this textbook, in schools.
Mm. You know,
Um,
you know what? I'm not going to go on that tangent right now. It was an Odyssey related tangent that doesn't matter to this recording.
I see.
But yeah, like I don't know. This movie, it had some potential. They squander it by having Mater being the main character. It also just kind of disturbs me that like Shipwell ends up with him at the end of the movie when she seems like pretty uncomfortable around him throughout the whole thing.
Though, you know what I don't understand?
What's that?
What was the time frame between the end of the movie and the epilogue?
Who
Because
knows?
I mean, they could have been, talking a lot more, after the entire mission is done.
Could have been. But one thing this movie does for the Pixar theory is it absolutely confirms yes, this is Earth. Like, you're not getting around that. This is absolutely Earth.
Oh yeah. Um, in fact, there was even a scene that you picked up that was literally just Italy, and it looked just a modern version of what we saw in Luca,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And that's not like just me being like, oh, all places in Italy look the same. It's literally the same city. Like, even the position of where a specific statue is the same. Now, granted, the statue has changed because in Luca, it was like somebody killing a sea monster. And in this movie, it's a statue of a car.
Carified.
Yeah.
Everything's carified these days.
I mean, I imagine the statue of someone killing a sea monster would not have lasted long anyway. Um, because, I mean, look at where we end up with at the end of Luca. But yeah, it looks almost exactly the same except more modern, which makes sense because, like, per the Pixar theory, this is at least 150 years later, I think.
Probably something like that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it would have to it would have to be at minimum 150 years because Luke is in like 1958, I think, or 59, and humans leave Earth in 2105.
So, I actually looked up the fucking transcript of this movie, because I just could not remember the call and response thing that they did. And I mean, they are cars, but who the fuck knows this on the top of their head? I also just want to know who the fuck knows this on in real life.
Okay, pretty much.
A Volks. No, I just wanted a Volkswagen Caravan. He has no radiator. That's because it's air cooled. If you knew that in real life, what?
Pretty
Like,
much
just
pretty much any car that works in roadside assistance would probably know this.
though, I think it's also the part about I just ran. Holly just randomly came up to this one person and saying that. Any reasonable person would be like, "What the hell? Who the hell are you?"
Also, okay, even beyond roadside assistance, I think a large portion of Germany would know that because
Hmm.
of the Volkswagen is a German car.
Yeah, but don't they release a lot of, cars?
They do, but like I'm trying to make the point that in the Cars universe, like a large portion of German cars would know this. A large portion of roadside assistance vehicles would know this. Like, for example, a tow truck.
Maybe. Though then again, a tow truck just needed, like as we see in Mater, he just picks up the cars. He has no responsibility in actually fixing said cars.
Sure, but he would at least know a bit about it. I mean, given how much he has to be around the cars that actually do the fixing, you'd pick up some stuff.
It's interesting. And I like, okay, if I want to say one thing I like about this movie, I kind of like the entire all around the world thing, you know?
I mean, we go to like maybe 4 places. I think we go to 4 places, not
Well,
counting not counting Radiator Springs.
there's also the themes of the spies too, where Holly, was delivering a message from London. I don't remember where Finn was, and then there's the American agent. It seems like a global issue that was around the world. That was just right under their nose, in fact.
So yeah, the 4 places we go to, I believe, are Tokyo, Porto Rosso, Paris, and London. Which
Where we get to see cars being murdered.
yeah, and like to call this the World Cup is pretty generous, I'd say.
Well, they did say it was the first World Cup.
I'd still say it's pretty generous to say world when you go to 4 countries and 3 of them are in Europe.
They'll expand eventually. No, they'll
Sure.
expand for the second one. That was before, cars started exploding.
Yeah, there's the
Also,
question of whether or not there will be a second one.
so here's another thing. So the all natural fuel, first of all, not even all natural. We're still being made from oil. But it's not even effing possible to have something mixed in with the oil that, I guess, in their explanation, that it expands with the electronic rays.
The EMPs,
Yeah.
which should actually it.
Wait. If that's an EMP, then, huh?
I mean, if the car is using any electrical components to run, it should shut off.
I mean, that's what happened in Agents of Shield, right?
Yeah,
The car was just flat out dead. If you have an electronic arm, you're not having an electronic arm anymore.
Yeah, like, but then again, like, I don't know how many electrical components are in these cars. But this is just the movie itself not making sense.
I mean, we've seen stuff like, sci-fi things such as make up their own rules.
Yeah, but
But,
realistically,
they explain. I've seen sci-fi movies. They try to explain in like this sci-fi mumbo jumbo. There's always like nano mark poly nano machines. There's always nano machines.
Pym particles. Yeah, let's not
Oh yeah,
forget. Let's not forget Ant-Man. Like Ant-Man's explanation not even making sense within Ant-Man. Gotta
have
love that.
fun. Yeah, not even the comics either.
I think in the comics they said some things to make it more consistent. I don't know, but like in the MCU, their explanation just does not make sense.
Hmm. No, it doesn't. But yeah, we have scientific mumbo jumbo. We have some, Lightning McQueen is just racing this entire time. He has no idea any of this is happening.
Yeah,
Which, I mean, a lot of people in this race have no idea what's happening. But the bodies are. Yeah. Okay, so I do actually wonder something. Are these cars just dying?
probably.
Because we do see a few cars that are, alive. Though I don't know if they die soon after.
Yeah, I don't know. They could be dying. They could be not.
Because, we see that one car, like, return back to the pit stop.
Yeah, who knows? I don't even particularly care.
Hmm.
Like when it's this movie we're dealing with, it's just like I don't care. Are they dying? Maybe. Are they not? Whatever. Like either way, it doesn't affect anything.
But Avery, that's a car life right there. Which I bet a
Yeah,
lot of car fans are really devastated about that. They're just, all of this history in cars, and they're just blowing them up without any second thought.
I love how you say that's a car life right there. After before this podcast recording, I literally came up with the theory about like car abortions.
You just had to bring it up.
But yeah, so it per the Pixar theory, like there's just a lot of stuff with this movie. From what I understand, Cars 2 is the most important Cars movie of the three for the Pixar theory.
Why?
Because A, this is Earth. B, there's like some connections between this movie and Luca. Um,
Huh.
C, potentially All in All is pretty important as well because
By and large.
yeah, All in All may have a connection to By and Large. Not saying that like By and Large is actually the source of All in All, but maybe some people working for By and Large are they owned the cars that inherit their memories and create All in All.
Well, that's another thing about it. I mean, because by and large, was focused on a very different part than like what all in all set out to achieve. Like by and large, set to be number one in consumerism. All in all, wanted to kill people.
Well,
That
to be fair though, By and Large is huge. At the very top level, they wanted to be number one in consumerism. But then, with All in All, it's a everything about this is just confusing, especially with like Mater supposedly figuring everything out randomly at the end.
I will admit, on my second time watch through, I did notice a few clues that point to like the ending, though a lot less clues than I remember now.
Yeah, and then
So,
like I also got to complain about Shiftwell randomly being able to fly.
admittedly, she was never able to fly like most of the other scenarios. It either takes too long or she's indoors.
It's just
Though
something like
that shit. Wait, we don't have. I mean, when would Shiftful even be made?
I could probably look that up here in a bit, but I mean, I just think it annoys me that like they bring this up so late into the movie that it just feels cheap. Like if it was brought up earlier, it wouldn't be like as bad.
I get what you mean. I can see reasons on why they wouldn't bring it up, like why in movie explanation, um, that she wouldn't use, the flying ability. It just takes too long to do, and you can't really do it indoors,
I
and
mean,
that's like half the movie.
at least if they had mentioned it maybe one or two times and then it pops
Yeah,
up where it
mention
does
could have been,
yeah.
yeah, it's supposed to, shock Finman Missile, like, oh wow, these new kids, with their newfangled toys, being able to fucking fly.
Yeah, like maybe if he had mentioned like how it like maybe if he had mentioned how he wanted one of them like flight thingamabobbers or whatever, like once or twice, and then the reveal is that she actually has them.
Yeah, it could have. I mean, a lot of this movie could have worked if there was more thought put into it.
Yeah, and I feel like this movie was kind of just churned out the door, never thought of again.
Hey, at least it was a creativity. We didn't just get, hey, Lightning McQueen does more things again. Laugh.
Yeah, no, instead we get Mater does more things again. Laugh.
I mean, I definitely see a lot of that in a lot of media. You know, they put out a sequel and oh hey look, it's literally nothing different from the first one. Nintendo likes this a lot.
Yeah, but at least with video games, there's like usually some value there because it's like different levels and shit.
You get a new power up. Congratulations.
Yeah. I mean, it's part of it. At the same time, like what you're saying does have merit because like part of the reason the new Super Mario Brothers series isn't really liked that well is because they were all basically the same thing.
But I also see this in movies too. Honestly, like I kind of want to go say Despicable Me. Minions,
Uh,
absolutely. Hey, look, the um, the yellow thing, the yellow bananas are doing things again.
God,
Pay us money.
God, I just really don't like Illumination. And like they made that movie Hop, and recently I learned that that
Hmm.
movie got a DS game.
What?
Yeah,
I actually seen Hop in theater. I think I seen Hop in theaters. I don't remember, but I do remember liking that when I was a kid. But then again, I was a kid.
yeah. The guy, there's a streamer I've been watching who's like trying to beat every Nintendo DS game ever made, and he's beaten that game and like I think like on his like spreadsheet he has like a column for would I recommend this game, and in there he's like if you were a fan of the movie for whatever reason then yeah. Otherwise, no.
I love how he's. I love just for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Were you there to watch that, or were you just
No.
looking at the spreadsheet?
I was just looking at the spreadsheet. The only games I've watched him like fully play, well, actually, the only game I've watched him fully play is Fossil Fighters Champions, because like I came in on Fossil Fighters when he was in like chapter 6, and there are 8 chapters in that game.
So the game was basically over.
Yeah, pretty much. Uh,
This oh, I should talk about some like the more newer characters in this movie. I do like Finn. Honestly, I like his design, his voice. I love his voice. Holly, meh, exists. I don't mind her as much, but existence is really just one of the things I would say about her. So
exist.
why did she get a Disney Affinity character, but Finn didn't? I'll never know. And mage like returning characters. I'm a little bit sad that a lot of the Radiator Spring characters get more of a backseat. And they're there. They serve the purpose of being there
But
to say that
backseating is
Cars 1 happened.
cringe.
I hate you. Um, I mean, yeah, they're basically there just to say, hey, remember Cars 1 happened? Yeah.
Yeah, and then like I'm sorry. To me, I think Francesco Bernoulli,
Oh, I forgot about that guy.
yeah, I don't know how to put this lightly, but I think his design is just fucking stupid.
I mean, he's just a he's just an indie car, so
Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't look good to me.
are you insulting the movie or just cars in general? I don't know.
Both.
Huh. Okay.
I mean, to me, like the colors clash like really
Oh,
badly.
okay. I thought you were like talking about the design on it, like just the shape,
I think
or
the shape is pretty dumb too, but like the colors also clash really badly.
oh, okay. Well, you hear here first. Avery hates IndyCar.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah. Francesco served his role as the villain, but the other car in Cars 1 did it much better.
the villain, kinda more like a
He was the standout. Okay, I guess he was the villain before the reveal of the villain. They needed someone.
the slight obstacle that a
Yeah.
side character has to overcome.
And we do have all the spy shit. I guess what I mean to say is he is the chicks of this movie.
Yeah, except Chick Hicks was a better villain.
Yeah. They try to make him as arrogant as he was, but also not.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think he's a more tamer Chick Hicks, which I mean, Chick Hicks did get on my nerves a lot, but that's what he was supposed to do. He was supposed to get on everyone's nerve. And I think it really taught Lightning McQueen like he doesn't always have to, go after the people that make him angry, to prove Chick Hicks wrong. He can do his own life. Whatever that amounts to.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, and like I had said before recording, though, just one other thing about this movie before we, start wrapping this to a close. I just could not shake the, I couldn't shake that the whole time Lightning McQueen sounded exactly like Mobius from Loki. Like, it's the same actor, and I know they're completely different characters, but like, I don't
Yes,
know.
Lightning McQueen is going to go into the TVA and travel around with fucking Carl Loki.
Ah, yes, Car Loki. I'm glad you have spoken that into existence. Now let's wrap this up.
Fine. Um, let's go into my other page, not that page. Um, interesting scores. IMDb gives this a 6.2. Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 40%. Metacritic gives it a 57%, and 84% of Google users like this movie. That's an above average for Google users.
It's higher than what I would expect for Google users. I'd expect it to be in the 70s.
But everything else seems accurate. You want to go first, or?
4.8.
Hmm. Well, that was interesting. Um,
Like
six
honestly,
point
just
three.
like honestly, just thinking about it, like I do think The Last Unicorn was a better movie than this, so I have to rate it below that.
Honestly, I don't. Did you hear my rating?
Yeah,
Okay, just making sure you were talking over it.
yeah. That if you guys didn't hear her rating, it was 6.3. Um, but yeah, join us tomorrow for what was it, Agents of Shield season 4, and then next week for free movie of the month for June, as well as Thor Ragnarok, and I guess the week after that for uh, what was it? Oh yeah, X Men: The Last Stand. And I need to look up what the order of X Men movies is because I'm not sure what comes after that. But
But
yeah, but yeah. Until then, I've been Avery. That's been Lily, and we will be seeing you.